Right, some bad news on the development front. One of the parts failed quality control. We know how to fix it, but it'll take some extra resource. It's on hold for now, but you can order the extra work from the laptop at any time.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Tom. Welcome back to a brand new career mode episode, and we're kicking it off on a bit of sort of darker and more disappointing note. And they said the aerodynamic upgrade has failed at the first time of asking, so that is a big shock and a big disappointment for us because we really needed the upgrade for this race. As you can see here, we're going to have to spend all the resource points we have, even though we don't have that many built up and it takes so long to build them up. We're going to have to spend the remainder of them, or a good chunk of them, to get the upgrade, because we are actually now the second worst team in terms of the aeros. We've actually dropped behind, I believe, McLaren or Sauber. So basically we're the second worst team, so we really need to get a move on in the aero department, and that's exactly what we're going to do here, jumping into practice to try and improve the car. But I do apologise, guys, for like I said, once again, the commentary for the previous video is already done, but the episode that went out today, the Sochi one at Russia, that was meant to go out yesterday, but I'm doing this higher quality thing with my videos, and it took, I'm not even gonna lie, 8 to 9 hours to upload that video, and I couldn't get it up in time, so just thought, you know what, I'll upload it anyway, but I'll set it for today to upload instead, and I'll make it an early upload. And today, this is going to be the second of 3 videos today, so obviously Russia went out, this is the second one for career mode, and then later on we've got a special video going out, and it's going to be showcasing the online on the F1 game, so I do urge you to go check that one out and come back to my channel later on tonight around 7 PM UK time. But as you can see, we're currently focusing now on this video, and this is Spain here for career mode, round 5 of the season, and this is the part where a lot of teams bring a lot of upgrades, and after this we've got Monaco, so it's crucial that we get a good result here and try and get on the right foot for the next race in Monaco, which you're always going to try and have a bit of momentum going into that race. As you can see here, we're currently getting down to practice, and so far a couple of purple scores all round in the track acclimatization, and also in the tyre wear test, and also in the fuel saving mode. And literally as soon as I'm crossing the line in these tests, I'm literally getting out the throttle straight away, because I'm using the old engine components from Russia, so the engine is very severely worn right now, and I'm going to use them for this practice session, and then I'm going to switch them out for qualifying. So the entire engine is going to go, or at least 3/4 of it, for qualifying. And as you can see on the screen right now, we're currently doing pretty good, just getting all the purple targets, and right now it's been a very successful practice session, one of the best ones in terms of maximising the R&D points. I've also got 25 points on the team objective, so it's been a very successful practice session. And after this practice session, I got a bit of a surprise and a well needed upgrade, and that is after the tragedy that happened with the front wing issue. I got a team update, and because I've completed 15 purple scores on practice, I've got the simultaneous development, which means various departments in the R&D development team are actually going to merge together to bring upgrades more faster and bring them at a bit more of a cohesive rate. They're going to try and bring the team together and hopefully improve the quality and also the speed of the upgrades, just with more people working on them together at the same time. So as you can see, we're now on the laptop, and this is the part where I was talking about. We're going to switch out most of the engine components that are worn. So the most worn ones are going to get switched. The ones that are in green are going to stay on for one more race. So the MGUH, the energy store, and also the gearbox will be staying on for one more race. So we're going to just switch out the ones that are on yellow and get on to the second component of them in this season. So we're going to make a swift transition here, getting the new parts on the car, and it's going to be very interesting because obviously we're not going to incur any grid penalties, but I'm curious to see what the difference in car performance will be compared to qualifying, or sorry, from practice compared to qualifying with the new engine parts, because some of these were quite severely worn. But we're now going to jump into qualifying, speaking of it, and it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here for qualifying, and we're going to jump straight into the Q1 session, and we're going to go straight onto the soft compound tyres and try and get straight down to the nitty gritty, try and find some lap time, try and set some good laps here with the new and improved components on the car. No grid penalties because I switched them out after practice, so it doesn't affect my qualifying. So here we go then, coming towards the end of my first time lap in Q1, and it's a pretty decent lap, nothing spectacular, but good enough to get us into P11 there, ahead of a couple of guys like Hulkenberg and whatnot. But I wasn't really happy with the lap time. I feel like I dropped down the order, and indeed I did drop down the order all the way down to P18. So we're going to run on board now for my best lap in Q1. Here we go then, DRS wide open into the first corner, just picking up the 100-meter board, 4th gear for turn 1, and then flicking it right for turn 2. Very easy to lose the back end here in the change of directions. Now go into turn 3, almost flat out. This car though, not quite, due to the lack of downforce on it, which we need to try and improve. So you can go flat out, maybe a Mercedes or a Ferrari. Then I go into turn number 4, 4th gear corner. So far, pretty good so far, up on our delta quite substantially, as we now get a nice clean exit into turn number 5 here, left-hander, just getting it all locked up on the front left there, and we get some nice good traction on the exit as we now go through turn 6 into turn 7 and 8. So the left-right chicane here, you can use as much of the curb as you want, really try and just extract the track limits here as we now go into turn 9, using all of the curb available, trying to carry as much speed as possible, open up the DRS over the crest of 9, and now into the brake zone of turn 10, just after 100-meter ball, down to second gear, possibly third, it depends on preference. I've sort of not really decided what I prefer there actually. I do like third gear, but sometimes second gear does help get the nose in. But now going through the swooping right hander here, get some nice traction on the exit. We now go into the final right left right combination here, now into the final chicane here, third gear, personal preference for me on this game, and a nice bit of clean traction on the exit to cap off the lap as you now go through the final corner and now wait for the DRS to become available. It's been a pretty good lap here, and this should comfortably see us through into the second part of qualifying. And let's see where that lap put us, P13. So there you go. I say comfortably, I mean only by 2 places, but that lap was pretty good, and I was using rich mix there to really try and get it through. I could have used the max fuel mix, but I normally save that for Q2. So as you can see, Ocon actually getting knocked out there in Q1, which is quite a surprise. So you do wonder, is the Force India just sort of slipping back now in the development race a little bit, because we are sort of struggling for pace now in most of the tracks. So I have to keep an eye on that and try and improve development. But as you can see, in Q2 I went out very late, and I left it so late that I went out for one run on a fresh compound of soft tyres, and unfortunately I encountered a Jolyon Palmer, and that pretty much ruined my Q2. So I did continue on, and eventually Palmer would actually go on again and actually hit me and give me a bit of car damage, which would actually run down the clock and therefore not give me time to go back out for another run. So no lap time in Q2, and we'll be starting the Spanish Grand Prix from P15. So very disappointing in qualifying, but we're now going to move into the race for the Spanish Grand Prix. So let's jump straight into it. Okay, so here we are then for race day at Catalonia. It's a very interesting one here. Heavy rain conditions for the first time this season, and it's going to make the race very, very interesting here, and I'm very much looking forward to it. From P15 on the grid, let's see what we can do, but this is going to be a very interesting race. Obviously, strategy-wise, it all goes out the window. We're going to be going just, running it until the track dries out. It's going to be full wets for a little while, then on intermediates, and then eventually transition into dry conditions. So it's going to be a proper race here. We're going to have to transition from wet to dry, and I've got no idea what the crossover points are in this game. So it's going to be a very interesting race, and I'm very much looking forward to it. We've got the new engine components on the car, fresh engine parts to really try and boost up the performance a little bit, so it should be a little bit quicker around here, and hopefully we can actually have the front wing upgrade, which was due for this race, in the next race for Monaco, where we're going to really need the downforce. But overall, other than that, I'm really much looking forward to this race. So let's babbling and let's jump straight into the Spanish Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. 5 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix, and it's going to be lights out and away we go. There might be a few screen freezes, which is what I'm worried about, because we had a bit of screen freezing in the intermediate conditions in a wet race not too long ago. But here we go then, off the line. I'm going to cover the inside. I've got McLaren trying to make a move here. I'm going to just protect my inside line and not let him make the move up the inside of a couple of cars here, including my teammate. Now up the inside of Toro Rosso. I think that's a Haas on my outside. Roman Grosjean there. I'm going to go around the outside of him up into P14 now, almost into the back of Carlos Sainz there. That could have been a very nasty collision there. We're going to squirt the power on out of turn 3. That's a nice bit of traction there. I'm going to find a little bit of time as we go up the inside of a few cars. The spray is pretty severe as we go up the inside of Kevin Magnussen up into P12. No, he's still on my outside. I'm going to squeeze him. He's having none of it though. I'm going to have to go around the outside here. Can I go for that move this early on? Will it work? Let's try. Oh, it's very close. I'm onto the curb and got to be careful. It's very slippery on it, and Magnussen just gets it. So good defensive driving there from the Dane, and he's going to keep me behind for P13 for now. But a pretty good start to the race, gaining a few places from 15th up into P13, and we're now looking to get past these guys. So let's try and set them up for a move. They're going to go very slowly into the hairpin under braking, so this is going to be an opportunity for me to maybe make a little lunge, have a look up the inside. And that is pretty slow, so I might have to consider that for the next lap as a possibility here. So let's square it on and let's see if we can try and keep up with these guys. Okay, here we go through turn 9, and can I get a good run on Magnussen out of the top of this corner here? Maybe line up for a move into the hairpin. It's not been too bad. I'm a little bit far back though, so I don't know if I'll be able to make the pop, and not quite, not close enough. But they're definitely a bit slow on the brakes, so that's an opportunity for me to make the move there if I line it out properly. Woo. Big sideways moment there. That was a nice little bit of control sliding, as Daniel Ricciardo would put it, but very nice there. Let's see if we can try and catch these guys. I'm just struggling a little bit in these conditions. The Force India with his lack of aero is just struggling slightly, but I think I can make it work. Okay, through the final chicane. Can I have a good exit? I'm getting a lot of screen freezing in these conditions. I don't know why, but it's so annoying because I'm pulling 60 frames absolutely fine, and out of nowhere it's just screen freezing on me. So that's pretty much ruined my exit because of it. Okay, so I've just been offered a strategy change onto intermediate. So I've taken it. I'm going to come in this up for inters. I've got no clue when the crossover is. I'm just going to trust my team on this one and pick when they say. I'm going to be very hot into there, all locked up into the hairpin. Not ideal, but we're coming off these tyres now anyway, so it's not a major issue. But we are going to come in for inters now, so the pit lane is going to be very, very busy. So we have to really be smart here, and hopefully that we don't get held up on the team and give us a nice snappy pit stop. And we might gain a place or two, even though normally we tend to lose a place in the pit stop. Let's hope we can actually gain one for a change. So here we go, out chicane. Some people are going to stay out, some people are going to come in, so we're going to come in now and strap on the intermediate tyres. So let's get the limiter on once we're near. There we go, slow it all down, not too bad, solid pit entry. Right behind K-Mag, and there's going to be just a huge train of cars, so loads of people are going to get held up here. We're going to come into our box. Now I don't think we're going to get held up if we get away now. So there we go, that's a nice stop, didn't get held up one bit. And we're going to rejoin, actually jump Magnussen. So we've jumped Magnussen, that's crucial for us. So that is good, and we're now behind Danny Kvyat. So let's try and catch him up now, get up to speed on this tyre and try and hunt him down. Okay, so we've got the rest of the cars in the pit lane now, so let's see how many places we actually gain. And I think we're going to get promoted into P11, into P10, so into the points. So very good strategy call there coming for the inters, and a very good pit stop, and we didn't get held up one bit, which was so critical and helpful for the pit stop phase. So we're now up into the points, and that is a very good transition onto intermediates there, and the strategy working beautifully for us. Now I'm actually pretty quick here, I'm actually catching Kvyat, so I want to try and line them up for a pop by the end of the lap. Okay, so the rain's going to stop in 10 minutes, so we'll be on these inters for a little while. I think as long as we run them long enough that the AI come in for a pit stop and I can stay out and not pit, then that'll be the ideal scenario. But if not, then we'll have to make these moves on track. But right now I am pretty quick, and like I said, I'm catching Danny Kvyat. I don't know if I'll pass him on the pit straight, but I'm sure I'll gaining time on him. So okay, I'm very close to Daniel now. You will have noticed a lack of talking compared to the first 4 videos, because of literally because of the conditions. You have to be so much more focused in the wet conditions on this game, because the car can snap on you at any time, and when it snaps it's almost unsavable. But here we go, we're in the turf Kvyat, we've got the fresh engine components. Can we go for a pop here on the brakes? I'm going to have a look. Here we go, up the inside of the hairpin. Can we pull it off? Kvyat's still on my outside. We're going to go side by side into the kink here. I'm going to leave Kvyat the room around the outside. Can I make the move? No, around the outside. We're going to just touch slightly. I'm still looking for the outside line. Short shift into 4th gear. Still side by side. Kvyat there holding it beautifully. I'm going to switch back underneath him. Can we get it? Squirt the power on around the outside of the chicane. It's going to be very tight through here. Can we pull it off? I'm having to cut the chicane slightly, but I've made the move and I'm up into 9th place. Now it's a fantastic overtake and a nice little battle there with Danny Kvyat. Fair play to him for holding it around the outside in all those places, and that's what just clean, respectful racing does. Absolutely fantastic stuff there from the AI. Very impressed. Right, we're flying around here, 1:36.5, basically matching the leaders. So our pace is really good around here. In the full wets, I didn't really have any pace. In the dry, I've got no pace, like you saw in qualifying. But in the inters, it must be just a sweet spot for this car. They're all sort of opening in the conditions, and it just must really suit my car. So we're really on it at the moment, and I'm really pulling away from the guys behind. I'm actually catching Hulkenberg up ahead. Personal best 36.3. I'm basically 1.5 seconds off the leader pace. Now the leaders decided to pick up their pace in these drying conditions. I'm slowly catching Hulkenberg still, so he's going to be the target for now. But we've now got to try and time this switch from inters to dryers, and the dryers are about 5 minutes away. Okay, so the team has suggested to come in this lap, so I'm going to do that. They've recommended me a soft and medium to the end, so that's what I'm going to do. So here we go then to the pit entry. Let's push the limit, let's push the speed. There we go, slowing it all down. That was very marginal, locking up both front tyres, but we've made it work. Very aggressive into the pit lane, and now let's see if we can have a good stop here into our pit box. For some reason I'm really struggling for frame rate at the moment, but here we go, release the clutch, come on, let me go. Right, I'm away, there we go. We're behind the Renault of Jolyon Palmer, who should peel into the pit lane. There we go. So we're going to be on soft tyres now, so let's see how these feel on this circuit and get up to speed on them fairly swiftly. Okay, so same thing as the last stint. Has anybody else come to the pit lane? If not, then we're going to rejoin in P9. So that's a pretty good switch over to dry tyres. We haven't lost any time. We've actually gained a little bit on Hulkenberg, but right now my PC is really struggling to perform at the moment. I don't know what it is. I'm dropping frames and I'm screen freezing. Like, I don't know what it is. In the dry conditions on this game, it runs absolutely fine. Like, I can pull 60 on Ultra. It's fine. but in these wet conditions my PC just bottlenecks. I don't know what it is, whether the rain is that demanding on this game, I really don't know, but it's absolutely horrible to drive and it has to be addressed in that patch. Okay, so Hulkenberg's passing Kimi Raikkonen. So Raikkonen is nowhere near the lead of the race. He's actually had a poor race for once. So Mr. OP himself, Mr. Superhuman, is struggling at Spain. So there you go. I don't think Raikkonen's winning this one, except an absolute miracle. So I think he might have an issue with his car, because if Hulkenberg's passed him, then it means he's obviously not performing well. So I think we might be on the cards here for another overtake. So I can already notice, once the dry conditions have come around, which is right now, the game runs beautifully. Like, I ain't got to turn down my graphics or anything, it just runs so nice. It's only when it rains, so that's really poor performance if that is the case, and I hope Codemasters do patch that in the day one patch, because that is pretty poor form. In other news, these 2017 monsters are starting to pick up their downforce levels, and I'm all over the back of Kimi Raikkonen here. And this lap, I've got a bit of rich mix saved up, so we've got the fresh components in the engine, so we are going to use them and put them to good use. We're going to use up all the rich mix we have in these next few laps to try and catch Nico Hulkenberg. So there we go, we get past Kimi Raikkonen, and it's now time to push. Right, into the 22s, that's race leader pace at the moment on these soft tyres, and I think everyone's on mediums going to the end, but I'm going to do another stop for softs, but I'm within Nico Hulkenberg's DRS, so we are making progress here, and things are looking good for us right now. Just got to keep pushing, but I could be right on the back of him this race. And on the radio just now, Hulkenberg's got apparently an issue, so that's going to give us the opportunity to get past him. And I just noticed, I think we are going to get 7th place if we do get him, so that's going to be a pretty good position here, considering we started from P15. So Hulkenberg is starting to go very slowly here, so I think I fancy my chances. I'm going to have a pop down the inside on the soft compound tyres. I've got a bit more grip than Nico, and there we go, we're up into P7 now. So let's keep pushing on these and use the remaining rich mix and try and put some distance between ourselves and try and maybe even catch Felipe Massa, which would be a fantastic achievement. Oh, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth, that. We're going to have to get our rich mix to try and save the MG UK, so we're going to listen to Jeff and do what he says, because these parts are precious, and the MG UK is the most worn part of my car. I've decided to run the MG UK that I ran in Russia for this race, so that's going to be on like 55% wear, so that's the most warm part that I've got on my car right now. But still, we've got some good pace. I trust that in standard we can still try and make inroads on Massa, so let's keep going here. Right, Ricardo just came to the pit lane there, so he's done a pit stop. Also, Mr. Raikkonen, the championship leader, is now I think he hasn't got any more issues, because he's starting to pick up the pace and he's catching me now pretty quickly. So Kimi now is going to be on me very soon. I'm going to stay for a bit longer, because the team are already doing medium pit stop, but I'm going to actually stay a little bit longer and go into a scrub set of softs, which I used in quali. So we're going to wait it out. As you can see, I've already selected the soft tyres in the bottom of the screen, so I'm just going to try and get these out. The tyre life is still pretty good on these. I've still got a bit left on the front left especially. I've still got a little bit there. Maybe get them until about 50% worn and then switch over. So we're going to try and drag these out a little bit and then switch over to the scrub set of soft compound tyres. Okay, now Verstappen, the other Red Bull, was in the pit lane, so that's going to promote me up into P5 temporarily. But here comes Kimi. He's just outside of a second. He's going to be on me by the back of this lap, so by the end of this lap, sorry. So it's going to be feisty times here versus a Ferrari at Catalunya. Right, Kimi's actually come in. He's come off the soft tyres, so I'm going to assume he's gone for the undercut. So he's had enough of them tyres. He's probably going to go into mediums. So that's going to be a very interesting strategy from him there. I'm going to stay a little bit longer. I'm going to try and make these last just a little bit longer. I want to try and pick the end of maybe next lap, and then I should be okay. But I actually am having an issue now, because I can't remember what lap I came in for softs off the intermediates. I actually can't remember, so I don't know how many laps I've done in these tyres. Okay, so now Massa comes in off the mediums, so he can't make those last. So right now I really don't know what to do, because all these guys are pitting. I'm staying out of my tyres, so maybe I've got good tyre life on these, but we're going to stay out for a little bit longer here, and then maybe at the end of this lap I might just come in for the soft tyres. Okay, so I've been pushing this in lap as much as possible. I think I'm going to make this double soft tyre stint work. I've really pushed these last 3 laps just to really kill off these tyres, but here we go into the pit lane. Let's push this pit entry. Get it all slowed down. There we go. Right, pretty good entrance there. Really getting the limiter down. And now we're going to see where we come out. We're going to come out behind Massa, but the question is, will we come out behind Kimi Raikkonen? So here we go, on to another set of soft compound tyres. Away we go. These are a scrub set. So I think I should get the life out of these. I think I should get to the end, but you just never know. Massa and Raikkonen on mediums. I opted for obviously the slightly more softer compound, but here comes Kimi. He's going to get past me. So we've got some work to do in the stint to try and get anything out of this race, but Kimi's going to be as fast as I expect him to be, so it's going to be a tough stint this one, but we're going to give it a good old go, and hopefully his tyres get us in the race. If not, then I'll die on them, but I'm not coming in again to the pit lane. Alright, post-best lap of the race, 22.7 in standard mix, so I've got some good pace, but Kimi's just in another planet. However, we are catching Massa pretty quickly, so there might still be a chance. Okay, Kimi is run back of Felipe Massa. I improved to a 22.4, so I'm still finding some pace on these scrub set of tyres. I should make it to the end on these, no issues. So let's try and push. 22.4. I'm back in rich mix. I'm pushing my luck here, but I'm now out of fuel, so I'm going to have to crank it down to standard. This will be my last race with this MG UK, so I thought I'd give it a good old workout. So, yeah, right now, I think this is going to be our finishing position, so I might just now start turning down the engine and just start short shifting now and cruising to the end, because we're not catching Massa now. Okay, we're going through the final chicane for the final time, and this is going to be the end of the Spanish Grand Prix here, and it's been a solid race, and I think a solid PA considering I started from P15 on the grid, so I'm happy with that. That's a solid amount of points, and I think that's well deserved. I think put some fresh engine components in the car. The upgrade did fail us, which was a front wing upgrade, which for this track would have been very nice, so hopefully it will arrive for the next one in Monaco, and we can have a better race then, but overall, a very enjoyable race, and the mixed conditions really throwing a spanner in the works there. I do apologise for the screen freezing throughout, especially in the wet conditions. I really don't know what to do, because I had this on for 2016, but this year it's just really, really bad. I don't know what it is. In the wet conditions, this game doesn't work properly from what I can see anyway. Like the frame rate is just horrible, and even if I run medium or low settings on graphics, it still does it. So I don't know what I can fix here, except for maybe a driver update that comes out that updates it to this game, which we're still waiting for, so we'll have to wait and see. But either way, that is the end of the Spanish Grand Prix, and Vettel wins with a Ferrari with Bottas in second, and Raikkonen could only manage, I believe, P6, so that's going to change it up for the championship slightly. I think Hamilton got P4, so we're now going to look at the final race results and the drivers and constructors standings to see exactly how everything shapes up after this race. Right, so there we have it. These are the final race results, and I come home in P8, as you can see there, behind Felipe Massa. Just couldn't catch him in the end, and Vettel wins with a Ferrari, and Bottas comes home in second from Mercedes, and Lewis Hamilton could only manage P5, with Raikkonen only managing P6, with both of the Red Bulls splitting the two big and fastest teams. But if I scroll further down here, let's see where Esteban Ocon finished, and he finished down in P17, so a very disappointing race for him there, and he actually got beaten by one of the McLaren, so I don't think that wasn't one of his best races there, and I think he'll be disappointed with that one. But in terms of the drivers' standings now, we're going to drop down to P7 with Bottas and Ricciardo overtaking us. So we're now dropping down to a realistic position, because this is the best of the rest position. P7 behind the three big teams is where I want to be. So right now, I've got a nice points cushion over the nearest car, which is Lance Stroll. And Lance Stroll's actually overtaken Esteban Ocon. So as you can see, Ferrari's still leading the way. Raikkonen's point lead has come down after winning the first four races. After today's poor result, has come down a bit to his teammate Vettel there. But the Mercedes car still have a lot of work to do to try and make up some points, as Verstappen is the man in P3. And then finally looking at the constructors, we're comfortably holding P4 ahead of Williams there, so very good result, and I want to try and look forward and not behind in terms of the constructors, so let's see if we can try and maybe push on and try and crack into one of the top three teams. But other than that, guys, that has been this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed it, please do smash the like button. Let's see if we can try and smash 250 likes for this episode. Also, if you're new around here, why not try and subscribe to my channel for future F1 content like this, and there'll be plenty more coming along your way very soon. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. And if you haven't missed any of the videos on screen right now, then I do urge you to go check them out if you haven't done so already. But thank you guys ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.